We're back here on the Hunter Call the Wild, and today we're going to be doing an updated skills and perks guide. Today I'm going to show you the before and after so you can see exactly what every skill and perk does, and then we will go through the best order to get all of your skills and perks. Now before we get into it, let me know in the comments what level you are in game, and we are going to dive right into it. Let's talk about how skills and perks work. When you start the game, you are at level 1. Now, as you level up, you will get a skill or a perk point every level up to level 37. So basically what that means is you'll get a skill point at level 2, a perk at level 3, a skill at level 4, and so on and so forth. They will alternate until you hit level 37. What happens at level 37 is you start to get a skill or a perk point alternating, so they come every 3 levels, not every level, from level 37 until level 60, and at that point you don't get any more skills and perks. You don't get all of them. Basically, you need to decide which ones you want the most. So if you do a lot of rifle hunting, you might want to have more rifle skills. If you do a lot of bow hunting, you might want to put more points in archery. So by the time you hit level 60, you will have allocated 22 skill points and 22 perk points. So to access your skills and perks menu, simply press escape, and there it is on the left-hand menu. So let's go into skills first. Now, if you are a level 60 player and you have already allocated all of your skill and perk points, you can at any time reset them. It is expensive to do so. Resetting your skills and perks can definitely be game changing if you have not selected wisely the first time through. To reset your skills and perks, you actually have to reset them separately. So you have to go in and reset the Stalker skills. It is 49,000 in-game dollars to do so. And to reset the Ambusher side is another 28,000. So to reset all of your skill points is going to cost 77,000 in-game dollars. So it is expensive, but man, it can be, as I mentioned before, game changing. And then when you want to reset your perks, each category has to be reset individually and they have their own price. So for rifles, it's 31,500 to reset. For handguns, it's 7,000. For shotguns, it's 24,500. And for archery, it is 14,000. Now, when you do reset any of your skills and perks, what happens is you immediately get all of those points back in order for you to reallocate them, and they come back immediately. So oftentimes you will have to reset both the Stalker and Ambusher side. They can all be spent on one side, on Stalker, or all in Ambusher, but more than likely you're going to have a balance between the two. I'm going to show you what it is like before you have each skill and perk, then we're going to get the skill or perk, and then I will show you the after so you can see exactly what it will do for your gameplay. And then I will go through the order which I would recommend that you get them as a new player. Now I'm actually going to start under the Ambusher skills. Now the first point we are going to drop into Scent Tinkerer, and that is so that it will open up tier 1. Now I don't use scents a whole lot, but it kind of forces you to get one so that you can continue selecting. So under Scent Tinkerer, not satisfied with the performance of the scent lures in the store, become a true scent alchemist. Under level 1, this increases the number of uses per canister for all scent lures purchased. And I will go through the rest even though I am not selecting them. At level 2, this increases the duration of all scent lures. At level 3, this increases the range of all scent lures. And at level 4, this increases the attraction chance of all scent lures. And then I would recommend getting 3 points into spotting knowledge as soon as possible. This is going to make the greatest difference to your gameplay. So I'm going to go ahead and put 3 points in spotting knowledge. This increases the amount of information that can be gained from the last animal spotted. At level 1, this reveals additional information about how aware the animal is of nearby threats. At level 2, this reveals information about the approximate health of the animal, and at level 3, this reveals information about the approximate trophy rating and weight of the animal. Now I should have waited. I put all my points in there already, but basically when you don't have this and you spot an animal, you get no information. Okay, so with 3 points, whenever you spot an animal, you can now see the sex of the animal. When I spot this mule deer, there is a little pink emblem that tells you that this is a female. It tells me how aware it is of nearby threats. She is calm, and it does show us her trophy estimate, which for a female is 0. Now, when I spot a male, it shows me the estimate, which is 213 to 274, and the weight range, which is 140 to 175 kilograms. You wouldn't have any of this information without 3 points in spotting knowledge, so you want that as soon as possible. Now, in order to select anything in tier 2, I am going to have to place another skill point in tier 1. So, Dazed and Confused adds a random chance of attracting an animal that is not attracted by a particular scent. Now, I don't really use scents, so then we have the More the Merrier. This increases the monetary reward gained from completing any mission by 5%. Now, I could put a point here in either of these, or I can put a second in Scent Tinkerer. I'm just going to put one here, and that opens up level 2 for us. Now, you definitely want sight spotting. That is what I would recommend you get next. So, under sight spotting, this unlocks the ability to spot animals while in aim mode with weapons. This means that you do not have to switch to binoculars or a rangefinder device to spot an animal. Okay, so sight spotting, this is what it is like before. I am unable to spot this elk through the scope. So now that we have purchased it, now I can spot them. So much better. Yes. Then we have Fatal Attraction. Anyone can use a collar, but it takes a true artist to do it well. Under level 1, increased chance of attracting animals to your location when using collars. And at level 2, increased chance of eliciting a vocalization response from nearby animals when using collars. Now, I do have to pick something in order to open up tier 3. Do I want anything in tier 3? I would love to have Pack Mule, but I can't have Pack Mule and Disturb Veg at the same time, unfortunately. And I'm actually not going to put any more points under the ambusher side, but I am going to go through the rest of them with you. So under impact resistant, is it a plane? Is it a bird? No, it's a falling hunter. Reduces the damage taken from falling. Now, if you're a klutz, this might be very helpful, but really it's not worth a point to me. Then under tier 3, we have tag. Level 1 increases the duration of the traced outline on an animal after spotting it. And at level 2 unlocks the ability to add a spotting outline on up to 3 animals simultaneously. Now, for the purpose of the video, I am going to get this just to show it to you, but I am not going to keep it because I do not recommend it. And I will show you why. Okay, so before I put any points in tag, let's spot this black bear and see how long the outline lasts for. So I'm just gonna sit and wait. It's disappearing and now it's gone. Okay, so now, I have to put a point in just to open up tier 3. So I'm gonna put one in Fatal Attraction, and unfortunately, I put 2 in and I still have to spend another one to unlock level 3. So you really gotta want stuff that's in here because you have to spend a lot of points just to get there. So I had to spend 3 more in order to unlock tag. Okay, so I am gonna put 1 point in there. So now my bear is gone. Now we need to find an animal. Okay, so I did put 1 point under tag. So now when I highlight the animal, let's watch how long the highlight lasts for. So it's still there. I think before it would have been disappearing already by now. So it does last 1 or 2 seconds longer. Then level 2 unlocks the ability to add a spotting outline on up to 3 animals. Now it sounds like a good idea, but watch what happens. So I can spot this one, and this one. Okay, that seems like a good idea, but if I want to go back and spot the first one, I can't. I have to wait for all of the outlines to disappear, and so you end up with all these outlined animals, and I just really don't like it. That's just how I feel about it. Maybe it is something that you would like, but that is what tag does with the second point. And then we have Who's Deer. At level 1, this adds a random chance of attracting a species that is not usually attracted by a particular collar. Now, this can be very handy for species that do not have a collar. Say you are hunting rabbits, and there are no collars for rabbits in the game. With this particular skill, you can use a random collar, and there is a chance that it will bring in that rabbit. It's not guaranteed to happen, but it will happen some of the time. So that's very handy. Then at level 2, this adds a random chance of inducing a vocalization response from a particular species that is not usually affected by a particular collar. So when you have level 2 and you put that call out, then if the rabbit is going to come in, it will make some sort of vocalization that will indicate to you that the collar is working for it. So that is awesome if you like to use collars quite a bit. And then there is Pack Mule, and I love Pack Mule, but you can't have Pack Mule and disturb vegetation at the same time. We just don't have enough skill points. And so as much as I love Pack Mule, I don't have it. Now, with Pack Mule, it reads, clever insights into space management has allowed you to carry more gear. Increase the base carry capacity by 15%. This does not affect backpacks. So when you do put a point into Pack Mule, this is what your storage will look like. Normally, without Pack Mule, your carrying capacity is 20 kilograms. And with Pack Mule, you get an increased carrying capacity of 3 kilograms. So then you can carry 23 kilograms. And with that extra 3 kilograms that you're carrying, you will make no additional sound. So you don't have to worry about spooking animals from having the extra carrying space. Now, who doesn't want to carry more rifles and more gear, right? Everybody does, but can't have Disturb Veg and Pack Mule, so you're gonna have to decide which one you want more. I wish we could have one more skill point, then we could have both. That would be so amazing. All right, I'm gonna try Who's Deer. So I'm gonna put 2 points in there. This rabbit is coming into the call. It just gave me a warning thump, and now it's spooking because of my wind, but that caller definitely called in that woolly hair. It didn't elicit a vocalization. Maybe the warning thump was the vocalization, but that woolly hair came into the distress fawn call because I have level 1 of Who's Deer. So there you go, that's what it does. Okay, now under tier 4, we have Keen Eye, and this is a skill that needs to be activated in order for it to work. Now, in order to activate it, well, I'm not going to select it yet. Let's read it first. Unlocks the ability to scout the surrounding area for animals and signs of activity near a lookout point. You must be within 10 meters of the survey map in a lookout point to activate the skill. The action can be repeated, but comes with a cooldown time. Level 1 adds a chance of revealing need zones on the map near the lookout point when surveying from it, and at level 2 adds a chance of revealing animal groups on the map near the lookout point when surveying from it. So I'm going to put 2 points in that. I'm not going to activate it until I'm in a lookout tower. Let's go find a lookout tower. Okay, so I am here in Leighton Lakes, and I am going to climb to the top of that lookout tower, and we are going to use the Keen Eye skill. Now, I did activate it. You can activate it at any time. When I get up to the top, you'll notice in the bottom right-hand corner that I have that little icon with the F. So I think we're going to have to press the F key once we get to the top, and that will find us need zones and animal groups. Sounds awesome. Okay, so we are going to press the F key. Now, it is important to note that you can only have one active skill activated at a time. So if you are going to run with the Keen Eye, then you will not be able to have zeroing activated at the same time. So it is important to note that. Okay, so we're going to press F. Feed zone discovered, rest zone discovered. I guess that's it. And then it has a counter. Look at that. So then it counts down, and once we get to 0, we can use it again. So that is how Keen Eye works. Then we have Hill Caller. Increases the attraction range of all callers when used within 10 meters of a lookout point or inside an elevated structure. This includes tree and tripod stands and elevated hunting structures. That might be cool, but man, it is not easy to get points into tier 4. And then we have Haggle. You're a likable person. Reduce the cost of all items in the outpost store by 5%. Ooh, baby, 5%? Not really worth the point, in my opinion. And we are now on to the Stalker skills. And I have reset my skills once again so that we can purchase everything in here to show you. So under tier 0, we have Locate Tracks. At level 1, the directional tracking cone becomes more accurate and narrower, both in the world and on the map. So before we put 1 point in there, let's go see what it is like with no points in Locate Tracks. Okay, so this is the cone before choosing level 1 of Locate Tracks. So there's level 1, and did you see? It did get narrower. Level 2 increases the distance at which tracks are visible and highlighted, so it doesn't change the cone. And at level 3, the directional tracking cone is now even narrower, and tracks can be detected even further away. So there we are at level 3. That is much narrower, and we can see tracks for further on. Then I would highly recommend 3 points in Track Knowledge. At level 1, reveals information about an animal's gender when investigating footprints and vocalizations. So right now, when I pick up a track, all I know is that it is a coyote and that they're class 2 and that this guy was running. That's it. So let's put 1 point in there. And now I can tell that it is a male. You can see the blue circle to the bottom left of the coyote there. If it were female, it would be pink. Level 2. So now this gives us info about approximate animal group size when investigating need zone tracks and health when investigating blood trails. So now when you do shoot an animal, you can track it and see its health declining so that you can get a basic idea of how much further you will have to track that animal. Okay, so when you pick up blood, this is what you will see. So it says blood trail, bleed rate very low, but no percentages. And that is before you have level 2 of track knowledge. When I select the second level, now we can see the percentages. So as you follow the blood trail, you will see the health of the animal dropping, and there it is, 50 to 75. So that'll basically give you an idea of how much further you have to track that animal. And this here is a need zone indicator, and it is telling us that we have 1 bear attached to this zone and the time for that zone. Now, before you put the second point in track knowledge, you would not know how many animals would be attached to this zone. So then, at level 3, reveals info about an animal's approximate weight when investigating footprints. So before we have level 3, there's the track. There is no weight attached to it. Let's put the third point in there, and now we can see the weight range for this track. So having 3 points in track knowledge is a definite must-have. Then we have I'm only happy when it rains. At level 1, this decreases your visibility in foggy weather, and at level 2, decreases your visibility in rainy weather. So basically, what this skill does is makes you less visible to animals in foggy weather. It doesn't decrease your visibility, it decreases the animal's visibility of you. It is worded kind of funny. And at level 2, the same thing. Animals have decreased visibility of you in rainy weather, so they are less likely to notice you. And then we have Hardened. Exploring in the wild has made you a survivor. Gain a 15% increase in health. Moving over to tier 2, connect the dots. So each time a track is investigated, a trail line is automatically drawn on your hunter mate between tracks of the active trail, the animal you are tracking. Trail direction is also indicated with an arrow. Investigated tracks that were not dropped in consecutive order have a dotted line drawn between them to indicate that there are more tracks to be found to complete the trail. The dotted line will not occur if 3 tracks in the order are skipped. Okay, so I have not selected that yet. So let's pick up a track. We'll pick up this elk, open up our hunter mate, and then pick up the next track. So there is nothing connecting these on the hunter mate. So now I have selected connect the dots, and now the trail will be connected. You can see it there a little bit, but let's pick up another track. So there, you can see it better there. So that is after. Now you definitely want soft feet. You want 2 points in soft feet. At level 1, this reduces the noise generated when moving through foliage, such as grass and leaves. And at level 2, reduces the noise generated when moving through larger vegetation, such as bushes and shrubs. So go ahead and put 2 points in there, and that is going to open up tier 3. So we have another skill that needs activating, weather prediction. Extensive studies in the art of meteorology has unlocked the ability to make accurate predictions about local weather conditions. At level 1, this unlocks the ability to approximate when the weather will change and to what state. For example, when it goes from clear to rainy. At level 2, this further extends the ability to predict weather changes in the future. Okay, we're going to try this out. So I'm going to buy them both, and I am going to activate it. So now I have this icon with an F in the bottom right-hand corner. I've actually never used this before, but I'm going to go ahead and press F. Okay, look at that. It's telling me what the weather is going to be like at different times of the day. So I guess if rain really bothers you in the game, this could be very helpful. But for me, it's just not worth a point, especially one that needs to be activated. And then under tier 3, we have Innate Triagulation. Each level decreases the size of the animal vocalization indicator in the world, making it easier to pinpoint the position of the animal that produced the call. So we need to pick up a call from an animal. Okay, I have a herd of whitetail here. They should put out a mating call very soon, and we will pick it up so that we can compare it to before and after Innate Triagulation. You know what? I'll get them to give me a warning call. Well, hopefully. I'm gonna try. Okay, there we go. So that is the indicator there before Innate Triagulation. They gave us a warning call. So now, 1 point in there. Now they need to do it again. Okay, and there is another warning call, and you can see that the indicator is much smaller, so you can see exactly where it's coming from. Now, this is one you want very much: Improvized Blind. This further decreases your visibility when inside large bushes and shrubs. Now, that's not something we can test, but it definitely will make you stealthier. And then we have Endurance, and I would highly recommend that one as well. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is testing the endurance skill. So it reads, this increases your endurance so that your heart rate rises slower when moving and falls faster when idle. So what I've done is I have run along the beach until, as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, my heart is basically exploding out of my chest. So let's stop and see how long it takes for my heart to calm down. So it's still beating, and still going, and I think, there we go. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing, but with the endurance skill. So let's go for another run, and the big test will be how long it takes for my heart to calm down. Now, it actually takes a couple minutes of running to get your heart going to max capacity, basically. Okay, so my heart is beating at max capacity, so now we're going to stop, and that is calming down a lot faster. Holy, that is a big difference already done. So there you go. You know what? I actually reset my skills and perks a while back just to get the endurance skill. And the reason I did is because I was struggling to take follow-up shots while running along the beach and shooting crocs. And the endurance skill made all the difference. So I do highly recommend this skill. Now we are on to tier 4, Disturbed Vegetation. This reveals a new track type, Disturbed Vegetation. Animals sometimes produce these in between other tracks. This makes it easier to follow the trails of difficult animals and reveals the animal's fur type when combined with the track knowledge skill. So when you don't have it, you just don't have any Disturbed Vegetation. And when you do, these just popped up on the map. So this is Disturbed Vegetation, and when you pick it up, it will tell you the fur type of whatever track. So when you're running around the map, you want to pick up as many of these disturbed veg little bushes as you can, because there's a good chance that you could find a rare fur from doing it. This skill is imperative for trophy hunting for finding rares. I even found one of my super rares from Disturbed Vegetation, if you can believe that. This here is my Leucistic Diamond Murder Chicken, Western Caper Cali, and yes, I did pick it up from Disturbed Vegetation. So if I didn't have this skill, I wouldn't have this super rare. So I will never not have it ever again. But again, you cannot have Disturbed Vegetation and Pack Mule at the same time. You have to pick one or the other. Okay, then we have another skill that needs activating: Wind Prediction. At level 1, this unlocks the ability to detect when the general wind speed is about to increase by observing how it rolls in over the landscape. Ambient wind noise masks your movement noise, allowing you to move more quietly. At level 2, this unlocks the ability to approximate the general wind direction and when it will change. So let's try it out. So I'm going to put 2 points in there. I'm going to activate it, and by activating it, that deactivates weather prediction. Okay, so we have a new icon in the bottom right-hand corner. I am going to press F. So that has a 600-second countdown. It's telling me the wind, 7.25 meters per second, and the direction of it at different times of the day. So basically, you'll know when the wind is going to change. And our last skill is Startle Call, and again, this is one you have to activate. So with this, it reads, unlocks the ability to stop animals in their tracks for a short time by making an unexpected noise. Perfect for when you're ready to take your shot. After a short duration, the animal will realize that something is wrong and flee. The more difficult the animal, the faster its realization. All right, so let's try this baby out. So I put 1 point in it. I'm gonna activate it. So now we need to find a traveling animal. So I have activated it. So that is the icon in the bottom right-hand corner. So to use it, I just have to press F, and then there will be a cooldown before we can use it again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run down here and spook these whitetail, and I'm going to try it out. Now, you can do this just by using the whistle, but often it doesn't stop them. It just spooks them even more. Okay, they're getting ready to spook. I'm just going to lightly spook them. Okay, there he goes. So I'm going to press F. I don't think it did anything. Hard to say. Maybe it stopped this female. I doubt it. but I think it put about a 25-second countdown before we can use it again. So as soon as it counts down, I will try once again. Okay, we are ready. There it is. Oh, it's 30 seconds. And it didn't do anything. Well, I tried. But that is how it works. How well it works, that I couldn't tell you. Okay, so we're going to start with muscle memory. And you will notice that even though all of the perks are separated into categories, rifles, handguns, shotguns, and archery, there are some that apply to all weapons in the game, such as muscle memory. So you definitely want 2 points in muscle memory. But before we get it, let's fire a weapon and see what it's like before and after. Okay, at level 1 unlocks the ability to ready your next shot without leaving aim mode for rifles, shotguns, and handguns. And at level 2, increase ready speed after firing for all weapons. Now this is the new 308, and I'm going to try to shoot 2 bucks if I can find them. So this is the B4. So I'm going to try and shoot. I doubt I can get 2, but here we go. Geez, I'm doing all right with the before. Okay, so now let's put 2 points in muscle memory and do that again. Okay, so that was the after. It did seem a little smoother. I think I was able to shoot a little bit quicker on the second shot, but that is muscle memory. Okay, and then we have breath control. Hold breath is an action that can be performed in aim mode to steady a weapon temporarily when lining up a shot. At level 1, decreased heart rate penalty from exhaling, which reduces the cooldown until your breath can be held again. At level 2, increased duration before you need to exhale when holding your breath. And at level 3, decreased aim wobble when holding your breath. So let's go shoot something before we put any points in breath control. Then we'll start adding them and test the difference. I'm going to line up a shot on this moose, and I am now holding my breath. So we're testing how long I can hold it for, and we are done. So my heart is still beating pretty fast. I'm waiting for it to be completely calm, and that's how long it took in order for me to hold my breath a second time. So we're going to put 1 point in, and let's try that again. Now, the length at which I hold my breath is going to be the same. What is going to be different is the amount of time in between. It will be faster for me to hold my breath a second time. So here we go. I am holding my breath, and we are done. Okay, so now I'm going to look at my heart rate in the bottom right corner, and that was much faster. So that's 1 point. Okay, let's put the second point in. Increase duration before you need to exhale when holding your breath. Okay, so I am now holding my breath, and we are still holding our breath. It's definitely longer. Should be almost done. Yes, still holding my breath, and we are done. Okay, and my heart has already calmed down. Absolutely beautiful. And the third point is going in. Decreased aim wobble when holding your breath. Okay, I am now holding my breath, and it definitely is steadier. Much steadier. So there you go. You definitely want 3 points in breath control. Now the next perk is zeroing, and this is one that has to be activated. So it reads, unlocks the ability to switch between different zero distances in addition to the default medium range zero on any weapon that supports it. At level 1, unlocks the short range zero, and at level 2, unlocks the long range zero. So basically, before you have zeroing, you are automatically zeroed to mid range on whatever weapon that you are using. So for any weapon that zeroes up to 300 meters, such as the Arzina, or any of the class 4 to 8 rifles, the Hansen and the Quist, they all zero to 300 meters. So without zeroing, you're automatically zeroed to 150 meters. What does that mean? That means when I take a shot on an animal that is exactly or around 150 meters away, like this moose, that is 166 meters, I am going to hit very close to where the crosshairs are. So I'm going to shoot this moose. Nice. And we got him. We did get a vital. Let's go check exactly where we hit. Okay, here is our moose, and there's the shot. So that's pretty much where we aimed, and it was 137.93 meters away, which is very close to 150 meters. So now I am going to take a shot before I have zeroing at a moose that is 300 meters away, and I will show you where we will hit. Okay, so we are now going to take a shot on this moose without zeroing from 300 meters. And he hides. Oh my gosh. All right, I guess we're going to be shooting this female because she just parked in front of this male. Doesn't really matter what we shoot. What we're paying attention to is pay attention to where the crosshairs are when I take my shot, and then we're going to compare that to where the bullet actually hits. So I'm zeroed automatically to 150 meters without zeroing. I'm going to aim about right there. I need her to die to check the shot. Okay, here is our moose. So that is where we hit when we aimed about right there, I would say. Maybe a tiny bit lower, but there is going to be a fair bit of bullet drop when you do not have zeroing. So if you are going to run without zeroing and you are going to take shots from over 300 meters, you're going to have to figure out where to aim to get a perfect mid-lung shot. You're going to have to aim about spine, I would say, but it definitely does make it more difficult to not have zeroing. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put 1 point into zeroing. Let's activate that. So now when I get my weapon out, I have the ability to zero to 75 and to 150 meters. When I go ahead and put the second point in, I now have the ability to zero up to 300 meters. So now we're going to take a shot on this moose who is over 300 meters away, and I am zeroed to 300 meters. So watch where I aim. That looked beautiful. And he is dropping. We got him. Beautiful. Okay. And here is our moose. And the bullet hit exactly where I aimed. And that is because I am zeroed to 300 meters. And that shot was 321 meters. So very close. So I do highly recommend putting 2 points in zeroing. I love zeroing. I definitely could not live without it. Okay, and we are on to steady hands. Decrease wobble when in aim mode using any weapon. Each level unlocked increases the effect. So this is one that is good not only for rifles, but for all of the rest of the weapon categories, handguns, shotguns, and archery. So let's take a shot before and after steady hands. So we're going to pay attention here to how much wobble we have while aiming. So I'm not holding my breath right now. This is how much we are wobbling. And I'm going to hold my breath and take the shot. Got him. Okay, we're going to put 1 point into steady hands. I'm not even going to take a shot here. Now you can see how much steadier it is just with 1 point. And we are going to go ahead and put the second point in. And now look how much steadier it is. So you definitely want 2 points in steady hands. So now we're on to focus shot. Holding your breath increases zoom when using rifles with iron, red dot, and holographic sights. So right now on my Zenith 300, I have put the red Raptor reflex sight. So here it is right here. And before I have focus shot, this is me holding my breath, holding it almost perfectly steady. Okay, so now let's put 1 point into focus shot. So now there's the difference. It zooms in a little bit. So if you do use these sights quite a bit, this could be very handy. And then we have Windage, the ability to gauge lateral wind direction and speed when in aim mode with any weapon. And this again is one that needs to be activated. So you can't really do it before. Let's purchase that. So I'm going to activate that. And when I activate a perk or a skill, you can only activate one at a time. So right now, I do not have zeroing. I have Windage. Okay, so this is actually for a weapon. So ability to gauge lateral wind direction and speed when in aim mode. So I'm in aim mode. I press F. There we go. There's the wind. 2.01 meters per second, and it is showing me that the wind is going from left to right, going east. Now if I move over here and do it again, I get a different reading, and it does count down, and I think that's the countdown until I can do it again. So now it is 2.82 meters per second. So basically it tells you the wind direction and how strong the wind is. So that's kind of cool, but I will be using the zeroing perk as my activated perk. And we're on to handgun perks. So the first one is Sprint and Load. Unlocks the ability to reload all weapons while running. So before we have this, first I'm going to take a shot. Now I'm going to reload while running. I am pressing reload and nothing is happening. So I'm going to stop, I'm going to reload, and now I'm trying to run, but I can only walk. Once it's done, I can run once again. So now let's put 1 point in, Sprint and Load. take another shot, and now we are running, and I can reload while running. And let me tell you, this is definitely something you want. Drives me crazy when I don't have this. And the next handgun perk is Quick Feet. Recover a steady aim faster after changing stances when using handguns. Each level unlocked increases the effect. Okay, so I have the Sunberg Rhino here. So I am standing straight up. I'm going to take a shot. Then I'm going to crouch and I'm going to take another shot. I'm going to try and do that as fast as possible. So here we go. Okay, so now I'm going to put 1 point in and we'll try that again. So I'm standing straight up. Then I'm going to crouch. And it's hard to really see a difference until you're actually shooting at animals. But let's put 1 more point in. I'm going to stand straight up, take my shot. Then I'm going to crouch. And so that is faster when you have 2 points in Quick Feet. Then we have Survival Instinct. Damage from animal attacks is reduced for a short duration after landing a shot on an aggressive animal. Okay, so that's not one we're going to be able to test, but if you do get attacked a lot, that might be a good option for you. Then we have Ranger. Increased accuracy when gauging distance of spotted animals. Increased accuracy when gauging distance of spotted animals. So this is me spotting an animal. It's showing to be about 220 meters. So now let's put 1 point in Ranger. Now it's saying 227. So I think it's giving a more accurate read. Very cool. And then we have Lightning Hands. Decreased reload time of all weapons. Each level unlocked increases the effect. Okay, so this is the Arzina 300. This is before we have any points in Lightning Hands. So I'm going to reload. So this is how long it takes to reload without Lightning Hands. And done. So now we'll put 1 point in. And now we're going to reload again. Definitely faster. So let's put the 2nd point in and reload. Oh my gosh, amazing. And we are on to Quick Draw. Increases the speed and accuracy of hip shots using any weapon except for bows and crossbows. Each level unlocked increases the effect. Okay, so I'm gonna do a hip shot here with the Rhino. Now let's put 1 point in and we did it again. I mean, I don't really use hip shots, but if you do, this might be a good one for you. And we will put the 3rd point in Quick Draw. Done! And much faster. Very cool. And now we're on to the shotgun perks. And the first one is Both Eyes Open. Decrease edge blur when using shotguns with iron red dot and holographic sights. Each level unlocked increases the effect. Okay, so this is the Rhino with the red raptor sight. There it is right there. And so before I have any points, I'm just trying to show you the edge blur on the dog here. Okay, so then let's put 1 point in Both Eyes Open. Yep, definitely a little more clear at the edges. And let's put another one in there. And now there's basically no difference around the edges. Not a big deal to me, but that's what it does. Now, unfortunately, if you do want something in the 2nd tier, you do have to put at least 1 point in the 1st tier in order to get there. So then we're on to Fast Shouldering. Increase the speed of entering and exiting aim mode using any weapon, as well as the speed of switching weapons. Each level unlocked increases the effect. This is going to be easy to test. So this is lifting up. That's the speed at which I can now lift up the Arzina 300 before I have any points in Fast Shouldering. Let's put 1 point in and definitely faster. And let's put 1 more in there. Yes. Big difference. You definitely want 2 points in Fast Shouldering. And then we have Body Control. Weapon sights align faster after rotating with any weapon. Each level unlocked increases the effect. Okay, so this is me lifting up and spotting with the Arzina. Then I'm going to move over. And that's how long it takes for me to get the Rhino up. And again, back to the Arzina. Okay, so let's put 1 point in Body Control and do that again. Definitely faster. Yes, definitely. And we're going to put 1 more point in. Okay. Oh, yes. Big difference. Much faster. So that is Body Control. So now we are on to Tracer Shot. Ability to trigger a tracer shot when firing shotguns. Pellets will leave behind smoke trails indicating the spread of the bullet. And this is a perk that needs to be activated. And remember, you can only activate one at a time. Okay, so this is the Cacciatore 12 gauge. And that's what it looks like when we take a shot. Now, let's put 1 point into Tracer Shot and always remember to activate. Okay, so now I'm gonna press F and take the shot. Now, look there, you see? That is the difference. That's showing you how far the spread is of my bullets. I'm gonna do it again. Oh, I have to wait until the 15 seconds is done and then press F again. And there it is. Once again, that is way more pronounced with that shot. Pretty cool. So that is Tracer Shot. And then we're on to Recoil Management. And this is one of the most imperative, most important perks that you absolutely need, especially if you plan to do any grinds. But this is so amazing for follow-up shots. So it reads, less recoil when firing any weapon and able to fire a follow-up shot sooner. Each level unlocked increases the effect. So we're going to test it before, and then we will test it with each point. Okay, so this is before Recoil Management. Fair bit of recoil. Okay, this is with 1 point. I'm just going to aim for the bar in the tripod. So you can actually see how far it shoots up. So that's with 1 point, 2 points. Felt like that was more recoil. Let's try that again. That's better. And with 3 points in Recoil Management. Yes, that is a huge difference. So there you go. That is Recoil Management. And the last perk point in shotguns is Boomstick. The ability to fire both chambers at the same time when using a double-barreled shotgun. Okay, so here I have the Gopi 10G Grand Shotgun that comes with the Salsvisen Park map. And this is what it looks like when I take a shot, and when I reload, you can see that it is a double-barreled shotgun. So now, let's put 1 point in Boomstick, and don't forget to activate it. And now we have a new icon in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. So then, aim where you would like to shoot, press F, and a counter will start counting down from 15 seconds. That is how much time you have to take a shot with the Boomstick perk. And there you go. So now, the 15 seconds is over, I can press F again and do it a second time. So that's how that works. And now we are on to archery perks. And the first one is Full Draw. Increases the time an arrow can be drawn in aim mode before fatigue sets in. Fatigue will cause aim wobble, followed by a disruption of aim mode. Each level unlocked increases the effect. Okay, so this is before I have any points in move and shoot. So this is the Arzina 300. So this is the wobble that I get before I have this point in there. So it's slowly moving up and down. So let's put 1 point in there now. And there you go. The wobble is definitely less. Moving on to Increased Confidence. Increases accuracy of all bows when shooting from the hip. Who of us here use hip shots for bows? Not me. But okay. All right, I will test it. I'm gonna actually put the time back so that we're not shooting here in the dark. Okay, so I'm gonna try a hip shot here with a bow, even though I've never done one in my life before we have anything in Increased Confidence. So there we go. We'll put 1 point in there and do it again. And 1 more point. With each point, you are going to get more accurate with hip shots with the bow. It is very hard to demonstrate, but that is what the perk does. And then we have Recycle. Unlocks the ability to retrieve fired arrows and bolts. There is a random chance that an arrow or bolt will break upon impact, in which case it cannot be retrieved. At level 1, this unlocks the ability to retrieve arrows or bolts, and at level 2, decreases the chance that an arrow or bolt will break upon impact. Okay, so we're just gonna fire an arrow. Now, obviously, before we have the Recycle perk, we're not gonna be able to pick up any of the arrows. So let's go ahead and put 1 point in there. How do I pick it up? How do I get my arrow back? So I looked this perk up online, and it reiterated the fact that you can pick up some arrows, but not all. So I'm gonna fire a couple more shots and see if we can pick up any of them. Okay. Yeah! Very cool. And that would have gone back into my inventory. This one it's not gonna let me, and this one it is. So that is definitely very cool. And then at level 2 decreases the chance that an arrow or bolt will break upon impact. I definitely can't demonstrate that, but that is what it does. Moving on to Like a Pro. Now, I really like to have this archery perk. Unlocks the ability to enter aim mode with a bow while prone. Allows for stealthy bow hunting. Except, right now, I do not have it, and I am prone. Okay, I'm prone. Now I'm crouching. Now I'm prone. And I am able to do this without that perk. So I think that's maybe a little bug in the game if I had to guess. I know you definitely needed to have this before. Let me try it with a different bow, because I thought that the only bow that you could shoot while prone without that perk was the crossbow. But this is the CB70. Let's try a different bow, and maybe we just don't need that perk right now. Okay, so we had the CB70. I put it away, and this is the CB60. Okay, now I'm gonna go prone, and I can shoot while I'm prone. So right now, don't waste your points on Like a Pro. You can take your shot while prone without this perk right now, and it may change in the future, but right now, you're just wasting a point on it based on what I see in the game right now. And last but definitely not least, we have Pumping Iron. Increased arm strength means more draw length. Increases the kinetic energy of all bows, which in turn means more damage, penetration, and speed using the same arrows. Each level unlocked increases the effect. Okay, so now we're gonna go through the recommended order of which skills and perks I would recommend you get first. So under ambusher skills, you want 3 points in spotting knowledge and 1 point in sight spotting. I would choose those 2 first. Now, obviously, you are gonna have to purchase other skills in order to get to particular skills and perks. I'm not gonna mention those. You can go ahead and select whichever ones you would like. I'm just gonna outline the ones that I think are most important and that you should get to as soon as possible. Then when we jump over to stalker skills, you definitely want 3 points in tracking knowledge. Then you want 2 points in soft feet, 1 point in improvised blind, 1 point in endurance, and 1 point in disturbed vegetation. Then when we jump over to rifle perks, you do want 2 points in muscle memory. You need all 3 of these, so whichever one you pick first is completely up to you. You might want to start with zeroing first, but I would recommend 2 points in zeroing, 3 points in breath control, 2 points in steady hands. After that, you'll want 1 point under handgun perks in sprint and load. And I actually just got this perk right here when I was making this guide. Lightning hands is another one that isn't imperative, but would be really nice to have. I would wait till last to get this one, but it is one that I have selected. Then under shotgun perks, you do want 2 points in fast shouldering. I actually only have 1 point in body control, so I can get to 3 points in recoil management. And then I actually have absolutely no points in archery. Now I do some bow hunting, and shockingly, you can get away and do a fair bit of bow hunting without anything in archery. So that is the order I would recommend. Man, that was a lot of work, but if it helps you out, it was totally worth it. If you did enjoy the video, go ahead and splat that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Remember to share and leave a comment down below, and as always, thank you so much for watching. And I'm going to recommend that you click right here for the secret to finding way more diamonds.